It's hard to prove that God's real, honestly. There's not a lot of information that actually proves is real, as morally great as the religion of Christianity is. But here's what I know, and what I would say to non-believers in hopes that would, you know, bring them to Christ. Um, One event I know about is the miracle of the sun. You know, in this event, three kids supposedly were approached by Mary, and she told them, hey, we're going to have a miracle on this day, and gather people to attend it. And a bunch of people came, and they said the sun did all these bizarre supernatural things. There's various accounts, and a lot of people say that these, different people saw different things, discredits it. But the fact that they all saw things, that have to do with the sun, it's hard to say. And the fact that, they all came on this same day and something happened, it's like kind of hard to discredit, and there's a lot of skepticism about it. But you can look this event up for yourself and draw your own conclusions. And apparently, sick were healed, and there was a lot of rain going on, and it stopped all of a sudden, and the ground got dried up all of a sudden too. There's a lot of like supernatural things that happened, and you can draw your own conclusions on it. Maybe like this was all the work of aliens. Some people might think, but whatever. Two experiences I've had with the Bible, just like opening up and all of a sudden it's like the perfect thing, like the information I was looking for. One was, I had this teacher, and she seemed like a deceiver, honestly. Like, there was a lot of positive things she would say. It was definitely like an eat the apple, leave the core class. And, she advocated communism one time. She said, like, there's a little bit of pro-UN things in the class. There is one time she went really hard with a pro-choice statement, like you're not allowed to be pro-life type of deal. But I opened up my Bible, and all of a sudden there was this section on false teachers. I believe it was in the second book of Peter. And it was very interesting how I came across that. And it's like hard to call things coincidence. Honestly, I think coincidence is a very dismissive word. And also I found, I think it was the second book of Peter, chapter 3, verse 8, it said something about a day being 1,000 years to God. And, that kind of, for anyone who's a skeptic of young earth, and they come, criticize the statements of Christians who translate the Bible literally, maybe Christians who take the Bible literally should also take Peter, the second book of Peter, verse 8 in chapter 3, literally. But, I don't know. For all I know, young earth could be right. But, also, a second occasion where this happened like an hour ago, honestly. I was thinking of, like, what something that has the same meaning of the word stealthily, but is a real word. And I stumbled upon, just opening up the Bible, Psalm 142, which uses the word privily, or privately, it might actually be. And it means the same thing as stealthily, except it's a real word. Like, the music industry is privately putting messages of Satanism into young people's minds, for example. And it also was the author of the psalm was writing this in a cave, and expressed how society was rejecting him, and that like Lord God was his refuge. And I was like, wow, that's me. I'm like such a nonconformist society reject whose room is in the basement, which is like a lot like a cave. And I was like, yeah, that's my psalm right there. And there was this one time where I was protesting over Black Friday, and how it's like, like this huge accumulation of materialistic desire, and it's very just materialistic, and I was protesting it, and how like people get trampled on this day and people still participate in it. And while I was protesting, I prayed that God would stop me from shivering in the cold. Like, I was shivering, and it just made me look weak, and I said, God, give me the strength, and I stopped shivering out of nowhere. And I tried to stop shivering, without that, but it didn't work, so I don't know, I felt like God really helped me. And I also seemingly stumble upon rare information that's important. Like, the chances of me stumbling upon this information seems ridiculous. I almost feel like God guides me to certain information. One thing I discovered was the fact that wild ox in the New King James Version is used to replace the word unicorn, which is in the King James Version. And I always wondered, like, why would they choose wild ox, like, of all the things they could say? And I stumbled upon this thing called an ornamentic rune system developed by the occultist Guido von List, and there's actually an ornamentic rune society as well. But one of the runes on it is an rune, which translates to wild ox, and I was like, did they, put wild ox in the New King James Version in honor of Guido von List? I don't know. But, that's another coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, but, you can take it as that if you want. And, here's the one you're gonna think I'm crazy on. This is, my proof that there's a devil. Oh, my goodness, that's creepy, isn't it? But, yeah, one time when I was 9, I was really scared. I was thinking, I feel like there's gonna be a demon coming after me tonight. Like, little kids get paranoid out of nowhere, Little kids sometimes have trouble going to sleep after watching a scary movie or something like that. But, this is probably, I was more scared this night than I ever was in my life. And I'm thinking maybe I was really sensing something. Because I was laying down in my mom's bed, with the light on, scared out of my mind. And this book hit the floor. I remember thinking then that this book was a Bible, but it just, like, hit the floor out of nowhere and landed flat. And I was like, wow, I'm scared. So, like, I don't know. I don't remember hitting that book off the desk. I remember I was just, like, facing the other way, and this book fell off. I believe it was a Bible. I remember thinking it was a Bible at the time. It could have not been, though. It could have been a different book. But, also, then, a little while afterwards, I heard this hissing noise, and the lights flickered, and this was like a really loud hissing noise. It could have been, electricity or something, but I don't know, it sounded like a hiss, more like a hiss than, some electrical surge. And I got scared shit then. And the fact that this happened on the one night that I was so scared was just like, it was a coincidence, if you want to think so, but I don't think so. So I do think there are demons, and I do think there is a devil, and I do certainly think there is a God. And, yeah. I didn't tell you any lies in this video. I really didn't tell you anything that I made up out of nowhere. It's whether or not, you want to have the same conclusions as me. Blah, 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 blah. I'm wearing a hat.